This is the Hyundai i30 Series 2, and this one in particular is the Active X, which Hyundai Australia predicts is going to account for 50% of all the updated models it sells. What's all the fuss about? Let's take a closer look and find out. The Active X is the second of 5 variants in the updated i30 range. And the reason Hyundai thinks it's the sweet spot is because it adds a bunch of extra features for only $1,000 more than the base model. Among those are 16-inch alloy wheels, electric folding mirrors, and if we jump inside, we get this leather-appointed upholstery, which is sort of part leather and part not, and not quite as good as the real thing. As well as a nicer steering wheel and some other neat trim touches. These come on top of features that are already standard in the Active, which include cruise control with buttons on the steering wheel, and this 5-inch touchscreen, which allows you to sync up your phone and even use things like Pandora radio. You also get reversing sensors and a rear view camera to make parking in those tight spots easier. It's all pretty good value for a car that comes in at under $25,000, even with the 6-speed automatic as this one does. We also love the amount of interior storage in the i30. You get a really big glove box, you get good sized pockets in the doors, you get a nice big bin in the center here, and there's some handy spots underneath the console to chuck your wallet and phone and that sort of stuff. The roominess continues in the back, where I've got good headroom and decent rear legroom. These seats also recline really nicely, and the seat bases are nice and long, which means you can really settle in for longer drives. Not so good is the fact that there are no rear vents and no center armrest, however. The i30 also has one of the bigger boots in its class. It's got a nice low loading lip and a flat and deep floor, underneath which is a full-size alloy spare wheel. Hopefully we don't need that when we go for a spin. There are 3 engines available in the updated i30 range, and the Active X is powered by the base petrol. It's a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder unit, and it carries over its power and torque from before. It's a decent little unit without being anything special. It gets off the line well, and it loves to rev. And in that way, the auto works really well with it, as it allows it to reach those higher notes and exploit its top-end power. Hyundai Australia's engineers have had another crack at tuning the suspension and steering of the i30. As a result, the steering feels more engaging than before, although it's still not quite as precise as some of the benchmarks in the class. It does, however, have a nice balance of being reasonably direct and easy to use. The ride is a bit firmer than before, which means it has more control when you're out of the city and tackling a few corners. The downside is that it does pick up more of those little bumps and inconsistencies in the road, and it tends to hit harder and fall heavily into bigger bumps and potholes. It's no dynamic benchmark, but it's capable, largely inoffensive, and easy to drive. Where the i30 does beat many of its rivals is in terms of after-sales protection. With a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty and lifetime cap price servicing, the i30 should hopefully deliver years of surprise-free motoring. And that largely sums up the i30. There are a few surprises here. It's a very good car, and although it still trails the dynamic benchmarks, it's better than most in terms of interior space and comfort and after-sales protection. Overall, the updates delivered in this Series 2 version inject a little freshness into a very solid small car.